What is going on, guys? Resellertom here. Welcome to the Reseller Profit Podcast, where we go straight into the value, how to make more money on eBay. That's exactly what this podcast is about, whether it's eBay, Poshmark, etc. This is going to apply with all platforms, and that is the beauty of this knowledge because you can apply this to any platform. Now, today's topic is going to be about how to increase sales, how to decrease slow sales. If you are having slower sales, let me know in the comments down below. I do see like a 10 or 12% decrease from last month. I typically do 10 to 12,000 per month. This month I'm doing about 9,000, which 1,000 down is not the best ever. But that is the ebbs and flows of business. It's going to go up and down. I fully expected that. And I always expect, life to be like this. In any area of life, it's going to go up and down. Now, we need to make sure that we are always being consistent, even when times are great. It's very, very easy, and it's human nature to get complacent, to get comfortable when times are great. Now, times were great for myself in like June, July, best months ever. Took that break in August, did the vacation, everything went downhill, right? So we need to make sure that we are staying consistent. eBay knows, like if you start missing, like I would say more than like 7 days, your traffic's going to go way down, your sales are going to go way down. Yes, you can miss 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, but you don't really want to miss more than that. Why? Because I've experimented with that. It's pretty obvious. Those first 3 days, you're getting normal traffic. That fourth, fifth day, it's pretty obvious. Why do they do that? I have no clue. I think we can all figure it out. But it's very, very important to make sure that we are staying consistent. I think what we're experiencing today is the work and the labor that we did 3 months ago. So if we slacked 3 months ago, it's going to hit us today, 3 months later. So if we weren't sourcing 90-day sell-through rate items 3 months ago, we're not going to be seeing those sales. And if we're not replacing those items that are selling with equal or better items, we're going to see a huge slowdown 3 months later, right? Because if we're trying to source items that have a 90-day sell-through rate, if we just stop, we're going to see that gap 3 months from that point. So we have to make sure, even when times are good, we go 10x, we do a 10x, the 10x rule by Grant Cardone, and we need to make sure that we 10x our actions when times are going great. Like I said, human nature, it's very easy for us to slow down when times are doing great. When times are doing bad, we're like, why is everything going horrible? It's because when times were going great, we started to get comfortable, slack, take some time off, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, you got to know what the what's going to happen when you do that. When you get comfortable, when you start slacking, things are going to happen, right? You're going to get a slowdown in sales. If you miss 3 days, that's a 3-day gap, which could have been a 90-day sell-through rate. And then when it comes to that 3 days, 90 days from that point, you're going to see that slowdown in sales. So we have to always think about being consistent. And if your listing goal is if it's too much, I think it's smarter to bring it down to hit a daily listing goal that is obtainable long-term rather than getting burnt out and then you can't really do it. So I just do 20. That's pretty easy for me. One thing that I've been doing that I've noticed and caught myself is I was taking way too many pictures in between doing my photos. So maybe I would do like 15 to 18 photos, which is way too much. So what I've done is I'm doing a lot less photos now. I'm just getting the front square photo. I'm getting like the upper half of the item. And then if there's like really cool like graphics or like cool buttons or cool things within the item, I'll get a close up of it, but then I'll turn it around, get the back, get the upper part of the back, and then straight into the measurements. Before I was getting all these different angles, taking way too much time. It would take me sometimes like 40 minutes, an hour just to do 20 items. Today, I did it with that new process. Takes me like 20 minutes. So you don't really need to have all these different photos and angles of the item. You really just, because people can zoom in on eBay, right? And make sure that you're always pointing out defects as well. But you really shouldn't be doing all the different angles. That was one mistake I was making, and I feel like that may have increased returns because people weren't looking at the measurements, because I do my measurements at the very end. And so if there's like 15 photos and then the measurements, it's going to get more returns. I think my return rate is like 4 or 5%, which is pretty high. So how to get more sales. That is what the topic is today. We have to make sure, like I said, when you're going like that fire that we had when times were going good and we were sourcing every day, getting all the items, we have to make sure that we are consistent with that. We have to make sure that we are consistent day in and day out, sourcing high-end items. It's extremely important that like I said, when we have that huge month, when we have that biggest month ever, we have to make sure that we continue that same work that got us there in the first place. If we start jeopardizing those actions and self-sabotaging ourselves, we're going to see that huge slowdown and failure, right? So we have to make sure that we have a bulletproof mindset and we do the work regardless of if we feel like it or not. So what I did, and I talk about this a lot, what got me to the next level in eBay, and this is going to apply to all platforms, whether you're cross-listing, etc. And you have to make sure that you are constantly learning, because if we think we know it all, then it's going to be the end of our eBay business. We have to make sure that we are always learning. We have to make sure that we are studying and getting nuggets from every single person, whether they have 1 subscriber, 1,000 or more. We have to make sure that we are always learning and getting nuggets from people, because everyone has knowledge. Everyone has awesome advice that they can apply that we can all learn from. And it's extremely important that we are a student of life and a student of eBay and reselling online. It's the most important thing. When we think we know it all, that's going to be the downfall, right? Our downfall is when we think we know it all and then we stop trying new things. Now, if eBay's not the right platform, maybe we need to diversify and start cross-listing on other platforms, which is going to be one of the next podcasts that we put out. Is it smart to cross-list? But right now, we are talking about always be open-minded and diversify. If eBay is not working for you, you need to figure out why it's not working. Are the items in your store good? Are they not good? Are they high sell-through rate? Are they high ASP? Do you have markdowns turned on? Do you have coupons turned on? Do you have the kitchen sink turned on when things aren't going great? Knowing all the things that you can turn on in your eBay business is extremely important. When I have really low days, I definitely will increase the percentage of offers that I send out. I will increase the store-wide coupon. I will increase the store-wide markdown when there's a slowdown. For me, it's weird. eBay gives me like 4 days super strong, then the next 4 days off. And it's kind of like in that pattern where it kind of goes like this. It's kind of like a roller coaster. And we need to make sure that we don't let it get to us, because the worst thing that we can do is get discouraged and then stop listing. Listing is the most important thing in our business. It is the lifeblood of our business. Do you have to list every single day? No, but maybe you should list every other day or every 3 days. But if you're gonna take more than that off, I don't think that you're gonna have that full-time eBay income. If you want full-time eBay income where you don't have to work a normal job, I would say that you should list every single day. Even like you don't have to, but if you want to have that full-time income, I think that it is really smart that you do that, just because if you're sourcing items that have a 90-day sell-through rate, it's going to sell within that 90-day period. So then 90 days from that point, you should be starting to see really consistent income where it's just sales every single day. I've never had a day like where I haven't had a sale, and I just dropped that water bottle, but I haven't had a day where I don't have sales, because I'm going out every day for 3 to 5 hours every day, sourcing only gold. Like, I will stay there all day until I find great items. Now, if you're part-time, that's a different story. That's going to be a little bit harder. You're just going to have to, within that time frame that you have to only get the best items that you can possibly get. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10. If it's only 5, just do the 5 listings daily of 5 gold items. Let's say you only have 1 hour a day to source and you can only find 2 gold items. Just do 2 gold items per day. If you do 3 hours and you can find, like me, 20 gold items, that's what you got to do. You got to also pass up on all the fluff, all the filler, and always have that in the back of your mind. Is this filler or is this like a higher end item? if you can just focus on higher end items, you're going to be super well off. And so, yeah, guys, that is basically today's podcast. You need to make sure that you avoid the filler. You're only sourcing great items. If you do that every single day, it will pay off 90 days from that point. And if you're just doing that nonstop, you're going to see really consistent sales, and you're not going to have a day where it's like a 0 day. I hear some people online where it's like, I had 0 sales today. That's crazy. If you're doing this full time, you should not have any day that is 0. If, like, I would say 90 days in, if you have 0 days, that is not good. You need to make sure that you are sourcing gold items, you're researching sell-through rate, you're researching the best brands, you're a student and learning every single day and being confident when you go out to the thrift stores, you're confident with the items that you have. And you're like, this was a great day. Every single day when I go to the bins or the thrift store, I'm like, today was a win. Like, today was just a great day. And if it's not, I'm going to continue to stay there all day until I find those items. So if you guys find this valuable, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe. We come to you guys every single Monday with this podcast. I really appreciate you guys. Have the best week ever, and leave your comment down below if you have any questions. I will answer questions on the next podcast. And with that being said, thank you guys once again, and we will see you very soon. Peace out, guys.